TV1 රැස්වීදන ජීවිතේ.
What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home? A very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Fernando and here are your headlines for tonight.
Landslide win for Narendra Modi in India election. Malwati Manaikas question US ambassador on American defense agreement. Yana Saratero leaves Valikada prison after receiving a presidential pardon. Motion of no confidence against Minister Rishad Bathiuddin to be debated on the 18th and 19th of July.
From news overseas, Bharatiya Janata Party, led by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has claimed a landslide victory in the national elections with 346 seats. The National India Congress, led by Rahul Gandhi, managed to secure only 91 seats. The results of 105 seats are yet to be released.
A historic mandate for Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led Bharatiya Janata Party, where a massive total has been added to the tally. The BJP on its own has crossed 300 in a house of 543. The majority mark was 272. The NDA, the coalition which Narendra Modi was leading, has crossed 350. The reason why this is historic is because perhaps for the first time a government, a non-Congress government, is repeating, and that too with a mandate like this. What does this mean? Remember, the opposition, the Congress party, had launched an offensive on the BJP, saying that their policies, particularly on the economic front, like the goods and services tax implementation and in fact even demonetization, have not worked, and that has actually caused great distress to the people of this country. Even on the foreign policy front, Narendra Modi was questioned by the Congress party. But it seems that this mandate will now be sold by the BJP as a referendum, as them having won over the Congress's allegations over the past 5 years. Now it'll be interesting to see how the next 5 years are going to be and what Prime Minister Modi's political ambition and strategy for this country is going to be.
There are 543 parliament seats in the lower house or the Lok Sabha, and parties need to hit 272 to claim majority and form a government. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has claimed a landslide victory in national elections. Together we grow, Modi said on Twitter as the results came in. Together we prosper, together we will build a strong and inclusive India. India wins yet again. Meanwhile, Smriti Irani, the actress who won the hearts of many Sri Lankans with her performance as Tulsi in the Mahagadri teledrama series, which was broadcast on our sister channel Sirasa TV, defeated Congress President Rahul Gandhi in Amethi, Uttar Pradesh. Smriti Irani, who represents the BJP, has won more than 49% of the total votes in the Amethi seat, while her opponent, leader of the Congress party Rahul Gandhi, only obtained 44% of the total votes. The Indian polls are considered the election of the world's largest democracy, with 900 million eligible voters, 2,000 plus political parties and 8,000 candidates. This year's polls, held over 7 phases starting on the 11th of April, have been described as a contest for the soul of India. In 2014, the BJP won 282 seats, the biggest victory by any party for 30 years, gaining a majority in parliament and trouncing the outgoing Congress party. While the Congress only secured 44 seats during the 2014 elections, it was the largest defeat suffered by the Congress party. More than 8,000 candidates representing 670 political parties contested in this year's elections. The Lok Sabha elections commenced on the 11th of April and concluded on the 19th of May this year. Between the 11th of April and 19th of May, hundreds of millions of Indians voted for members of the Lok Sabha, the lower house of Parliament, which is 543 elected seats. India began counting hundreds of millions of votes in its general elections today, with the coalition led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's party already preparing to form the next government. 6 of 7 exit polls showed that the National Democratic Alliance, led by Modi's Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party, is expected to surpass the 272 seats needed to command a majority in the lower house of Parliament. Their predicted margin of victory is larger than surveys indicated in the run-up to the vote, when most polls showed the NDA would be the largest alliance but would fall short of an overall majority. Counting of more than 600 million votes began at 8 a.m. local time, and trends were expected to be known by noon. Final results are due today evening. Official data from India's Election Commission showed Modi's Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party ahead in 339 of the 542 seats available, more than the 272 seats needed for a majority in the lower house of Parliament. That would give it the first back-to-back majority for a single party since 1984. Speaking at a news briefing, leader of India's opposition Congress party, Gulab Nabi Azad, said that if one polling station tampered with, the polls should be counted again.
पोलिंग स्टेशन पे गड़बड़ पाया गया, डिस्क्रिपेंसी पाई गई, तो पूरी विधानसभा की वीवीपैट को मिलना चाहिए। ये एक में भी अगर पोलिंग स्टेशन में भी एक मशीन में भी अगर गड़बड़ निकला, तो पूरी विधानसभा के वोट दोबारा से गिनने चाहिए।
However, in response to this, Defence Minister and leader of the BJP said that this is merely an attempt to sway the election in their favour.
They have already sensed it, that this 2019 Lok Sabha election is not going in their favour. However much they denied it, there is a response and resonance to Prime Minister Modi all across the country, and as a result, sensing defeat, you have various parties who have come together only to talk of EVM and related issues.
Meanwhile, President Maithripala extended his warm congratulations to the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his victory in the Indian general elections.
Issuing a congratulatory message, President Sirisena stated, and I quote, "The decision of the people of India to entrust your party and its alliance partners the responsibility of guiding India's destiny for a further term with this renewed mandate is a clear endorsement of the policies adopted under your stewardship," unquote. The President further said, and I quote, "Having been associated with you, I would like to express the hope that in your second term at India's helm, that bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and India will continue to grow and strengthen, particularly on the economic front," unquote. He also emphasized that India has a key role to play in spearheading regional growth that brings prosperity to the region.
Now moving on to news here at home, the Mahanayaka of the Malwata chapter of the Siam sect questioned the US ambassador to Sri Lanka on the defense agreements between Sri Lanka and the US.
Indeed, a great deal of misinformation that is out there, and I thought that is also why it is useful to have a face-to-face conversation so we understand one another very clearly. And I share your concern, as we had discussed in December, about extremism in Sri Lanka and elsewhere. This is something the United States has been focused on for some time. And why I think today the call for social harmony, encouraging moderate voices, and finding ways to work together is so important so that people are not further pushed into the extreme corners. No, I think what you're referring to is the visiting forces agreement that we have been negotiating with the government. So we have not concluded our negotiations. And the visiting forces agreement is an administrative and logistical agreement that allows us to pre-negotiate many of the arrangements that have to be made when we conduct joint exercises with the Sri Lankan military, always at the invitation of the government of Sri Lanka. We already have an existing agreement with the government that dates from 1995, but that is now an old agreement and it's time to update it. There are issues that remain to be discussed and need to be worked out so that we have a clear mutual understanding about what would be agreed. I know in the media there have been a number of concerns raised around the agreement. Our purpose is to be transparent about agreements and about the nature of the partnership between the United States and the government of Sri Lanka. But we have made public always the agreements that we conclude and with other countries, because we have visiting forces agreements or status of forces agreements with 100 other countries. And so all of those are available publicly.
Views were expressed in Parliament regarding the American agreements.
The Tamil community will not create a war again, so they were looking at creating other issues in the country for the past 7 to 8 years. They tried to use the Tawhid Jamaat and the Bodubala Sena that were created by their henchmen to create a conflict between the Sinhalese and the Muslims. They attacked Digana and they attacked Alutgama, but the situation did not escalate as much as they hoped for. When they used the racial issue, when they use the extremist issue, and when they use IS terrorism, these colonial projects can come into the country the way they want. The NATO project can come into the country. The American project can come into the country. The Chinese and Indian projects can come into the country. We thank India and its intelligence units for informing about these attacks beforehand on the 4th of April. There is no suspicion there. The Minister of Defense, the letter sent out by the senior police officer, says that the Indian High Commissioner was also a target. We would like to ask whether a bomber went there. Was the bomber arrested? There is a diplomatic security division under the police. When the Indian High Commissioner got to know about this, did they ask for additional security? Or did they impose that security themselves? This is my opinion. The Indian intelligence unit received this information and did not request for additional security. Tell us if I'm wrong. Why did they not ask for security? I think the Indian High Commission was just included in the list. What does this prove? It proves that Indian intelligence is operating here more than the Sri Lankan intelligence units, and that they are strong. The Indian High Commission cannot say this openly, so they included the Indian High Commission in the list. I am saying this while thanking the Indian intelligence units. There are powerful foreign forces coming into the country by using the divisions that we have among us.
The government of Sri Lanka signed the initial acquisition and cross-servicing agreement AXA with the USA in 2007. The signatories to the 5th March 2007 agreement were Ambassador of the US to Sri Lanka, Robert Blake, and Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa. This agreement, Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa said that two American citizens have signed, Robert Blake and Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The validity of the agreement is for a period of 10 years. And the agreement was due to expire on 6 March 2017. A new draft AXA was proposed by the US side in July 2016. In general, the contents are similar. In the new agreement, the contents are similar and no major changes were observed on the text. However, a key difference with regard to timelines is that the proposed new AXA will not require renewal.
This speaks of the services that will be provided when the US is engaged in some war somewhere. Otherwise, it doesn't have to speak about ammunition.
Ammunition even. Logistical support for the US Army.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa's matter ends on the 6th of March 2017. This agreement has been put in place forever. It is not forever. As per the new agreement, there is no renewal clause.
Still continuing in local news, the leader of the National Congress, ALM Atala, expressed the following views yesterday.
After
Ranil Wickremesinghe became Prime Minister, military agreements were reached with the US, India, Norway and Israel. A separate agreement with India by the Sri Lankan intelligence and the army. They have agreed to work together and the Indian and US officials can travel anywhere in the country. It is through this pact that goods were taken to Trincomalee from the Katunayaka airport without any visa. According to this agreement, if an American citizen is charged with any wrongdoing, they cannot be prosecuted under the Sri Lankan law. They are systematically implementing their agenda. First, they change the constitution, then the Prime Minister, the military agreement, and later the Singapore FTA. They have implemented a plan to give away thousands of acres of land, including the Trincomalee harbour, to the US and India under the guise of agreements. These lands should belong to us and our future generation. Our politicians are focused on their votes. Minister Maithripala, who is in the US, had talked as if there was a massive war against ISIS in the country and thus paving the path to sign an agreement. Zaharan as well as Prabhakaran came into light through powerful Western agendas. Today they have arrived. As you can see, US ships have been docked in the island. In such a backdrop, our so-called leaders are talking like fools.
His Eminence Cardinal Fernando, the representative of His Holiness Pope Francis, visited the St. Sebastian's Church in Katuapitia, Negombo today.
The Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, and the representative of His Holiness Pope Francis, His Eminence Cardinal Fernando Fulani, visited the Katuapitia Church. His Eminence Cardinal Fernando Fulani called to memory all the victims of the April 21st attacks. His Eminence Cardinal Fernando Fulani, who met with some of the victims of the attacks, blessed them. The foundation stone was laid today for the construction of a new cemetery at the premises of the Katuapitia Church.
Speaker Karu Jayasuriya informed Parliament today that dates for the debate on the no-confidence motion against Minister Rishad Badiuddin have been set on the 18th and 19th of June.
Yesterday, you informed the House that you will set dates for the motion of no confidence against Minister Rishad Badiuddin to be debated and notify us of it. We received information that dates for this debate have been set, but I believe that you should inform the House about this.
I requested for this debate to be held soon. Today, the Honourable Prime Minister is also here. He too asked for a debate to be held soon. It was decided at the party leaders' meeting to hold this debate in June. Prime Minister, if you could explain.
Honourable Speaker, I have made two requests. One is to present an interim report on Rishad Badiuddin. Yesterday, I made a request from you to discuss on this matter with the party leaders and set a date for the debate. So that is a matter of the business committee. You discussed with them and set a date. Honourable Speaker, we are ready for the debate on the 18th and 19th of June. We proposed for all the bills presented by the government in the agenda to be debated and passed by the 4th and for the debate to be taken up on the 6th and 7th. However, the government was strongly of the stance that they cannot allocate a day during the first week, and the debate will be held on the 18th and 19th. So the party leaders meeting ended today without a final consensus. So we are asking you now again. Even the Prime Minister is saying that you have the power to give a date for this.
They said they will take it up in July, but I said we cannot wait till July. So the final dates were decided as the 18th and 19th of June, except the 18th and the 19th.
Taking up the no confidence motion for debate on the 18th and 19th is a postponement of the debate. The Prime Minister also said that an interim report on Rishad Badruddin will be submitted by a select committee within 2 weeks. They are trying to exonerate him through this report and make a way for them to raise their hands. We ask for the debate to be held on the 6th and 7th. What are you talking about when the opposition leader is not here? You must discuss this with the opposition leader, the leader of the House and the Speaker. Others are speaking, so I was seated here.
අපි ඔබතුමාට කියන්න කැමතියි අපි මතු කරලා තියෙන කරුණු අපි ඔතන සාකච්ඡා කරන්න එන්නේ නැහැ. එන්න ඒක 1000 සහභාගී වෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ.
Furthermore, Speaker Karu Jayasuriya this morning announced the members of the Parliamentary Select Committee to look into and report on the terrorist attacks that took place on the 21st of April.
The committee will be chaired by Deputy Speaker Anand Kumarasiri. The committee includes parliamentarians Rauf Hakim, Ravi Karunanayake, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, Dr. Kavinda Jayawardena, Professor Ashu Marasinghe, Dr. Jayampati Vikramaratne and M.S. Sumanthiran. This committee will also look into allegations levelled against Minister Rishad Badruddin.
The United People's Freedom Alliance has decided to refrain from joining the Parliamentary Select Committee.
As the UPFA and the SLFP, we have decided not to participate in the Parliamentary Select Committee. We don't see that the Select Committee was appointed with the objective of solving this issue. We see this as an attempt to sweep these problems under the carpet. All 96 MPs have no intention of participating in this.
Now in a story that made it to the headlines, Venerable Galagodatte Gnanasaratthera, who was jailed, was granted a presidential pardon today. He was in jail for 9 months for contempt of court and left the Valikada prison this evening.
Venerable Galagodatte Gnanasaratthera was sentenced to 6 years of rigorous imprisonment on the 8th of August last year. He was found guilty of contempt of court. The Attorney General filed 4 charges against the Thera. Gnanasaratthera was charged for forcibly entering the court premises on the 25th of January 2016, the day on which the case over the disappearance of journalist Prageet Eknaligoda was being taken up for hearing. He was also charged for interfering with court proceedings, reprimanding the State Council who was representing the aggrieved party, and contempt of court. Court found Gnanasaratthera guilty of these charges and handed down a suspended sentence of 19 years of imprisonment to be served in 6 years. However, in the recent past, the clergy and civil society called for the release of Venerable Galagodatte Gnanasaratthera.
I was waiting for a long time for this day. I am very happy. I wish blessings upon the President, the media personnel and everyone who helped with his release. I wish blessings upon the Mahanayaka Theros and all the clergy.
After leaving the Valikada prison, Venerable Galagodatte Gnanasaratthera visited the Kottave Rukmani Sri Dharmaloka Vijayarama Viharasthana.
Venerable Galagodatte Gnanasaratthera met with the Mahanayaka of the Kotte Kalyani Sri Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha, Most Venerable Dr. Ithapane Dhammalankara Thero. Venerable Galagodatte Gnanasaratthera then engaged in religious observances.
The Mahanayaka Theras and our Sangha Sabha and the Mahanayakas of the other Sangha Sabhas worked hard to secure my release. All of them raised their voices. Also, I would like to humbly present my gratitude to the President and the government for taking steps to release me. Also, I would like to thank the Minister of Justice. We spoke of the fate that would befall our country over a long period of time. We were ridiculed for doing that. Certain groups attempted to confine us to political camps. In the end, all the revelations that we made before this country became a reality. So we are deeply hurt by this. But however, we will have to work with patience in the future. I am exhausted now. We suffered for years for this country. Our objective now is to move towards a more religious lifestyle. So I plan on keeping to myself and living a religious life from now on, because as a Sinhalese and as a Thera, I have done my duty to the people. I would like to point out to the political leaders and the general public of the country that if one is to sacrifice his life for the country, then there first should be a country for that person to sacrifice his life for.
ජීවිතේ පූජා කරන්න පුළුවන් රට වෙනුවෙන්. හැබැයි රටක් තියෙන්න ඕන ජීවිතේ පූජා කරන්නත්.
In news overseas, according to the UK media reports, British Prime Minister Theresa May could announce her resignation in the next few days as she faces pressure from members of her own party to step down.
The newspaper reported today morning that May will announce that she will quit her post as early as Friday. The paper did not cite a source. The newspaper added that May will remain as Prime Minister while her successor is elected in a two-stage process under which two final candidates face a ballot of 125,000 Conservative Party members. Pressure appears to be mounting on the Prime Minister to announce her departure in the last 48 hours amid a backlash of her offer of a new Brexit plan that she wants to put before Parliament.
We now cross over to Newsfirst Faraz Shaukat Ali, who is in England and has been closely following this developing international story. Faraz, how are the events at Westminster unfolding?
Good evening to you, Sandru, and good evening to all our viewers in Sri Lanka. Well, the latest here from Britain is that Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, has bowed to pressure from her backbench members of Parliament and her cabinet ministers and abandoned her plans to present her controversial EU withdrawal bill to Parliament, which was scheduled to happen tomorrow. Now, she triggered a ferocious backlash in her party on Tuesday when she announced that the bill would include plans to give members of Parliament a vote on holding a second referendum and on a temporary customs union.
Faraz, do you not see a resemblance in this to the situation at home with the involvement of the backbench?
Sri Lanka too, this is something that they can draw upon. They can use this example of democracy at play. If the political leadership is unable to deliver upon the people's wishes, backbench members of Parliament can take the rules into their own hands and force a change for the better, a change that will serve the people better, not this muddle-headed leadership that Sri Lanka is stuck with and has been stuck with for several years. This is an example, a shining example. What is happening in Britain today is a shining example that Sri Lanka too can use for its own benefit.
Thank you so much, Faraz, for joining us from England. Now, moving on to more local news. A revelation made by Newsfirst was certified in Parliament today.
On this day, we revealed that a Singaporean company is planning to invest in the EAP group, which was facing a financial crisis. We pointed out that the investment is to be made by a company that was registered on the 12th of January last year. Newsfirst revealed the true identity of the person behind this deal. We revealed that a person by the name of Jayasudhir Jairam, who was arrested by Sri Lankan customs for money laundering, was the force behind this deal. This expose by Newsfirst was confirmed in Parliament today. Speaking in Parliament, State Minister Eran Vikramaratne said that Jayasudhir Jayaram was detained at the Bandaranaike International Airport on the 10th of November 2016 when he attempted to leave the country with undeclared foreign currency. He had attempted to smuggle $108,000 together with another individual named T. Keon Min. According to State Minister Eran Vikramaratne, Jayasudhir Jayaram had said that he was travelling to Dubai for an important business meeting. The State Minister also confirmed that Jayasudhir Jayaram was released upon the oral approval of the Director General of Customs and the Provincial Director of Customs. It was revealed in Parliament today that the money the suspects attempted to smuggle overseas was confiscated. I have never heard of an instance where when two suspects are detained for attempting to smuggle money of about $160,000 from the country, one suspect is detained and the other suspect is released because he had some urgent business to attend. So I would like to ask as to who approved this. They have taken this decision within the framework of the Customs Ordinance. There is a problem in the law. I believe that when these sort of incidents happen, it is appropriate to inform the police and the CID. If this person is a large-scale thief, how was he released like this at this time? Has any action been taken against them? It is under these individuals that an attempt is being made to purchase a television company in the country through the central bank. So I would like to ask you and your government, this person is now coming back to Sri Lanka, but I don't know if he is being brought back. But it is with this money that he is trying to purchase this television company. This is clearly smuggling, taking illicit money out of Sri Lanka. So is your government paving the way for people like this to purchase a television company in the country through the central bank? Honourable MP, I can't say that about this specific individual. I cannot say what he is going to purchase and what he is not going to purchase. And I cannot confirm if this is the same person or not. I cannot speak on what I do not know. But there are limits in the law. I believe that we should tighten the law in this area.
30 people were arrested today after several raids were carried out in Nitambua and Pannala areas.
A joint operation was carried out this morning in Alabadagama, Pannala by the Sri Lanka Army and the police. 4 suspects in possession of 25 bags believed to be containing 25 kilograms of ammonia were arrested. The suspects were also in possession of an army uniform and several similar uniforms and a number of mobile phones. According to our correspondent, several umbrellas used by Buddhist monks were found in the possession of the suspects along with 3 swords and 13 passports. During another search operation carried out in Tiharia, Nitambua, 26 suspects were arrested by the police. Our correspondent said that United National Party Provincial Councillor Mohammed Sabdin Mohammed Ashroof was among the arrested suspects. Search operations were carried out by the Commando Regiment of the Sri Lanka Army and the Sri Lanka Police.
අද එක්තරා ජාතික පුවත්පතක ප්‍රධාන ශීර්ෂය ලෙසට පළ වෙලා තිබුණු
A national newspaper published an article today with the headline, quote, Tawhid Jamaat doctor performs permanent female sterilization on 4,000 Sinhala Buddhist mothers after cesarean surgery, unquote. And it further states details have been revealed with evidence and investigations are underway to arrest the doctor. First of all, we would like to say that the CID or a special police team are not investigating any female sterilization matters as mentioned in the article, and no such complaint was made to any police station in the country. However, the Kurunegala police are investigating a doctor from the Kurunegala area for amassing a massive amount of wealth. I said that because it refers to a doctor. The police media division was not consulted for such a report and cannot take responsibility of it. The Acting Inspector General of Police had instructed the CID to conduct a criminal investigation over the publication of such news reports.
සිදු කිරීමට වැඩ බලන පොලිස්පතිතුමා අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව වෙත යොමු කිරීමටත් කටයුතු කරනු ලැබුවා.
And with that, wrap up news for tonight. Thank you very much for joining. Do take care and good night.